Hey Business 24 students, this is Mr. Doucette and I am going to work through homework assignment number 1 with you. It's not a difficult assignment, it's just something basic, but I wanted to start this class off by providing a few homework videos and a few other things. So it's not a difficult assignment. I'm going to kind of step you through how to do a homework assignment in Canvas as well as work through this particular assignment with you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here, and right now I'm on the Norco College website, so I want to obviously go to our class in Canvas. So I'm going to go ahead and just click the log into Canvas down the bottom, and mine's already set up to go right into Canvas, and of course our class is Business 24 37129, so I'm going to select that, and that brings us then to the home page. And then since we're working in module number 1 right now, I'm going to go ahead and select module number 1. And that brings me to the modules page that lists all of the work that needs to be accomplished for week number 1. And I'm going to go ahead and select the homework assignment, which is the communication process and medium channel forms. And by the way, some of you have already done this. And I also, if you watched the PowerPoint or looked at the PowerPoint for chapter 1, all of the answers are in there for this particular assignment. However, I do use a different graphic for the communication process than what the PowerPoint gives, but I do want to talk about each of these a little bit, and this will be considered my little teaching for week number 1. So what I'm going to start with is by downloading each of these forms. So I'm going to go ahead and download the communication process form. Actually, you got to click the right arrow. And then I'm also going to download the medium channel exercise form. So those have both been downloaded. I'm also going to go ahead and go back to modules, and I'm going to select PowerPoint for chapter 1 because that's where all the answers are for this. But I do want to talk about each of them. So even though you can easily get the answers, I want to make sure you understand why these are important. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to download that PowerPoint. And I'm going to go ahead and exit out for the moment of Canvas, and I'm going to go ahead and open that PowerPoint that I downloaded. So this is the PowerPoint, and by the way, I utilize this first PowerPoint in most of my in-person classes just to kind of introduce myself. So I talk a little bit about the class. Of course, this class is about how to communicate well, especially in a business setting, and it's focusing on how to write effectively, so really having emails that people want to read, really having memos and business letters that are formatted properly and by industry standards. Of course, ultimately teaching you how to stand out among your peers with your ability to communicate. As I keep mentioning, recruiters are looking for people who have really good communication skills, and it really will not only make you stand up, but give you many opportunities for advancement. So what you do in this class and what you learn in this class, if you apply it, you will definitely be among those who are good communicators in your workplace. 1/3 of the class is focused on personal communications, and the other 2/3 is focused on business writing. So first module is all about communication. The second and third module are all about business writing, and it's very critical. Most of the communication that happens in a workplace environment is in some form of writing, whether that be an email or a text. Even though there's personal meetings and phone calls, you do a lot more emailing. And so you really want your emails to stand out and to be professional. We will be doing 1 business presentation, as you know, and also 7 business writing assignments. So anyway, the rest of this you can read through. It's just some questions that I typically ask at the beginning of the class. But what I want to get to is this communication process. So it's right here, and I don't know why I have hand motions at the top of that screen, but this is really the communication process. That's a little bit different in the document that I sent you. That was from an older book, but the steps are pretty much the same. You have a sender first having an idea of what they want to communicate. Then the sender encodes that idea in a message. So they've come up with what they want to say, and now what matters is how they want to communicate that and how they want to send that to their listener or receiver. So the third step is that the sender produces the message in a medium, and the medium is the form that it takes. And there's really only 3 mediums. There is the written medium, there is the verbal medium, and there's the visual medium. And those are the three primary ways in which you would produce your message. It would be something visual, be something in writing, or something verbal that you're going to share. And then you're going to transmit that message, step number 4, through a channel. And that channel could be a number of different things. It could be through a written channel. It could be through a digital channel. It could be through an in-person channel where you're giving it to them in person. So those are technically the 3 channels: in-person, written, or digital, or hard, I guess you'd say hard copy. And then the audience receives the message, the audience decodes the message, and then the audience responds to the message by giving you feedback. Now, the only way you're going to know whether the message got across, the only way you're going to know whether the receiver understood the message properly is if they give you feedback, letting you know they got it and that they understand it, or even to reiterate it to you so that you know that they understood what you said. So this is the communication process. I gave you this form to fill out in order to illustrate that. So this is the form. By the way, I uploaded a new version of it. If you downloaded the earlier version, the numbers were all off. But this is basically the communication process. The first one, number 1, is the communicator has an idea of what they want to say and the message in which they want to say. And so, of course, they encode that message in some form or medium in which they are going to communicate that message, again, verbal, visual, or written. And then, of course, they're going to send that medium. They're going to send that message through a channel. And that's the third thing. The channel is how you're going to actually deliver that message to your recipient. Step number 4, the recipient receives the message and opens it up and decodes it. And then, of course, step number 5 is they give you feedback. They give you comments to let you know that they got the message, as well as to let you know that they understand the message. So this is the communication process, and any of those steps that are taken out of this makes communication breakdown. Anything that hinders this process makes communication breakdown. And so it's really good for you to understand this communication process. Now, the next page that I had you do for the homework assignment was this medium channel exercise. And so it's asking you, what are the 3 main mediums? What are the 3 primary channels? What are the different combinations of those mediums and channels? And then what are the best combinations for sensitive topics? And we'll come back to that. So the 3 main mediums I already mentioned, hopefully you remember, are the visual medium, the verbal medium, and then the written medium, right? So those are the way in which you can communicate. And by the way, in your PowerPoint, I have those. So there it is, the oral medium, which I called verbal, the written medium, and the visual medium. And so those are what you might consider to be the 3 mediums. And then the channels, 3 primary channels, are going to be either the in-person channel, which you're doing it face-to-face, or it's going to be the digital channel where you are sending it via some electronic media, or the in-print channel. This is where you print something out and actually show the person. So that would be in place of the in-person. So those are the 3 primary channels that you will communicate your message. And then the question is asked, and you can't really see all 3 of them, what are the most common mediums and common channel combinations? So obviously you have an oral medium. This is where you're speaking, so you could do that in person. Or you can do it digital. Right now you're watching a digital version of an oral medium as I'm sharing with you content. It's being done so digitally in a video. So that would be the oral medium in a digital channel. Then, of course, you have a written medium, as I mentioned, so you can do that in person. You can write something down. People can read it. You can hand them a printed document. Or you can give them a digital channel in which you send that to them. You can do it by sending an email or a text. And that's the primary way that most communication happens in a business. And then there's the visual medium. Again, it could be a picture. It could be a video. And I can show that to you. I can take the picture and put it up and you can look at it. That would be an in-person channel for a visual medium. Or I could send you the picture, in Snapchat, or I can send you the picture via email as an attachment. That would be a digital channel to show you the picture. So those would be the 3 channels and 3 medium best combinations. And that actually is the answer to this Third question right here, the different combinations of mediums and channels. Now, the question then comes up, well, which is the best combination for sensitive topics? Well, obviously, you're not going to break up with your boyfriend or girlfriend via text. I mean, not to say that it hasn't been done, nor are you going to fire somebody via an email. In most cases, you're going to meet with that person in person. You're going to be face-to-face, in person, in a verbal medium, sharing with them the bad news or the good news. And so this would be the most best combination for sensitive topics would be in-person, verbal. The next question is, what is the best combination for formal situations? Now, some people say, well, that would be in-person and verbal as well, but not necessarily. Typically, people receive something being more formal when it's done in writing, typically a letter. So if you're going to send somebody a notice that they got accepted to a college or even got accepted for a job, a lot of times that is done in a letter, and it's very formal. If you receive a letter in the mail, it kind of grabs your attention, right? So it would be a written medium, and it would be in the form of a in-person, or should I say an in-print document, and that would be a letter. So I would say letters and in print would be the best way to do it. And then the most common combination today is the last question on there, and that is most common. Well, like I said, in a business environment, yes, there'll be meetings, yes, there'll be presentations, but you primarily will communicate via email. Right now, this class we're taking, I am communicating with you quite a bit, but primarily I'm doing so through email. So it is a written medium in a digital channel, and that would be the most common combination today. And of course, the last question is, when should you consider a printed message over a digital or electronic message? And that would be, if you think about it, when it is a sensitive situation, when it is a sensitive topic that also requires more formality, as well as maybe the ability to keep some kind of a record. So in that case, it would be something in writing or something that you could write in a letter form, probably the best. Not to say an email wouldn't work, but a letter can be, considered more formal, and it also can be considered something that you can store, you can file it away. It's something you can go back and reference to later. Email has made that possible as well by sending an email, but letters are still considered a little more formal when it comes to sensitive situations. So again, the question here is, why should you do a printed message over a digital one? And that's when it's meant to be more formal and when it's meant to be stored or kept for a long period of time. So that's pretty much it. I wanted to cover all that. I basically did your homework for you, but I wanted to also make sure that you watch the video and that it's helping you. And that doesn't mean I'm going to help you do all of the homework assignments like I did this time, but I wanted to use this as a teaching opportunity. So please complete both of these forms and upload them to Canvas. It's not difficult to upload them to Canvas. In fact, I'll go back to Canvas for a second and I'll show you how to upload the assignment in case you don't know. But if you select the assignment itself, so in this case, homework number 1, because I'm not in the student view, I'm in my view, I'm going to go ahead and select the student view. This is what you will see, and this is what the assignment should look like for you. And all you need to do is select Start Assignment, and then you can upload right here, Upload File, your documents right there. Just upload those 2 files. And if you upload one file, you usually can add another right here. So choose your file. So what you're going to want to do is either print those 2 forms out or download them to your computer, type in the answers, and then upload them back here to the assignment. And then just click Submit Assignment in order for you to submit it. And then it'll go into Canvas, and I'll be able to see it. I'll be able to grade it. I'll be able to comment on it. It'll be in your grade book. So anyway, hopefully that was helpful to you all, and I will be doing many more short little videos like this covering different topics. Some of them will be teaching only, some of them will be going over homework assignments, some of them will be announcements, but I wanted you to at least see my face more often than not, since this is an online class. So take advantage of the videos if you can. I'll always give you a reason to watch, and in this case I basically did your